Tint.
And use a bunch of different material. Don't get so hell-bent on, I have to use this brand and only this brand. Install lower quality film and then install higher quality film. The more reps you have with a lower quality film, you're going to be much better at installing the high quality film. Go to Home Depot and get that single ply silver and try to install that. Even for us, we can do it, but it's a pain in the ass. That's always been the funny thing to me when I go into a customer's house and they're like, I tried it and nope, can't do it. And I was like, well, where'd you get the film? Like Home Depot. And it's like, all right, which window did you do? They'll point towards the French door. I'm like, well, pick the hardest window in your house. And then also the film you're using is paper thin. And for me, that would have been a task to do.
Yeah, especially with the wrong tools.
Get as many reps as you possibly can. If you can buy a film on discount from somebody, buy a roll and just install. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Born to Tint podcast with the Mellow Brothers. I'm Ricky, and I'm happy to be here with my big brother, Josh.
How's it going, everybody? Today, we got an episode, just me and Ricky, kind of talking about a little bit about how 2024 went, but more talking about moving forward into 2025, plans we have for the business and for the academy. Talk a little bit about the podcast and some merch. Check it out.
I don't know. What are your goals for 2025?
What are my goals? Or what do you mean?
What are your goals for 2025 within the company?
Okay, there you go.
I mean, we're on a podcast talking about the company. I'm not sure where you want that was going.
Well, your question was for 2025, so I thought that could mean like personal, but company-wise, keep doing what we've been doing. Continue to find stuff to fix and improve and grow the team and keep growing it. Finally do some classes here in the academy. Use that to grow our labor base.
Which I do want to say, I know that we have been up and down of when that's going to start. Our main goal right now is by the end of Q1 to actually start running classes. And those first couple classes already been pretty much handpicked when it comes down to it. And then we will get the site up and going to where we'll have a price, what we're going to do course-wise, and it's going to be aimed at auto tinners to convert to flat glass tinners. And then we're going to expand that as we move through the year. But that's for me, that's why I think direction we should be going in. And that's why
I think it'll be useful to somebody who's coming from no knowledge, but ideally the person that already has some film knowledge is going to pick it up a lot faster. That's our general thesis. So, and there's a lot of auto tinners out there that want to get better at flat glass because typically they have people asking for it and they just don't have the confidence to know what film can I put on what window, and a handful of little really install tips and tricks that are going to make it faster and more profitable. But if you can put film on a car cleanly, you're eventually going to get it on a flat glass window, maybe without even any help with what's already currently out there. But a handful of little details on techniques and ways to
shave time off, shave off the wasted film because you're going to waste film. I'd rather somebody waste film in a controlled setting because my personal thoughts on it is each installer is going to start with a 5-foot roll. In my eyes, it'd probably be like something like a silver 20, Solar Guard silver 20. Very easy to notice your mistakes with silver, see what kind of dirt and trash. So it's easier to train someone with. You'll start with a 5-foot roll, so 500 square feet. And then by the time you're done, you'll be, you've went through 500 square feet of film. Like that's how many reps you should be getting in.
At least, yeah. And then we'll play with that as we go, see how many windows someone can really get done in that amount of time in a way that we can observe it, record it, critique it. But yeah, that's exciting as far as goals go for the year. Everything else in the business is going pretty good as far as we've been making changes to the business side, moving people's seats around. Now we got a full-time flat glass manager. Was our lead installer, and now he's actually running those crews for us. So the day-to-day operations of getting the installs in, we still are involved a little bit, but the majority of those tasks that could be handed off to have someone else handle it are now being taken care of, like scheduling. So it's nice to go out and go on sales and know that we've got the systems in place that whether it's through TintWiz or high level,
which that's a new add-on. We've already probably talked ad nauseum how much we use TintWiz, which it'll be very operational based for us now. And now that we've gotten to the point with the company expanding, we've now introduced Go High Level into our sales side, to our sales team, the communication with our sales team from a lead coming in, how it goes through our different funnels, how we reach out to our customers, to a proposal being sent, bought jobs being approved, trying to automate as much as we possibly can.
Yeah. So this is something I was thinking about the other day. Eric with Rewired's been helping us with that because a lot of it has to do with we're running so many different ad sets on so many different platforms. It's just, and the leads are coming in a way. We have an inside sales team now. And then this was a huge suggestion from Ryan Pineda, our business mentor, that we needed to do this anyways. We'd gotten to a size and scale where all of those things can be done through TintWiz up to a certain size and scale.
Yeah.
Because it's built out the same way. When you really look at it, now that I've been using high level and going back and looking at the ways I can look at proposals in TintWiz and stuff and look at the different statuses, it's really still flowing through a pipeline. And if it's coming through the TintWiz leads, you're still getting most of the same information. But in order to automate our marketing better and the sales team be a little bit more organized, it was just like an extra piece we needed to add at our size and scale. I don't think a smaller 2 to 10 man operation necessarily needs to go to that yet.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, my goal for 2025 would be, we just brought an extra person in, into the auto side. So now we have 4, let's see, 1, 2, Joel, Christian, Dylan, Brendan. So yeah, we have 4, right? Joel, Christian, Dylan. Am I forgetting someone there? Luis. Yeah, 4th guy. So we have 4 guys, and then we have Brendan as our auto manager. I'm looking to add in more people into our flat class, which anyone looking to relocate, we are definitely interested in anyone sending in applications, even if depending on your skill level, would offer relocation, money for relocation, helping you relocate, because we are definitely still at a point where we're getting enough leads and work right now to where we can bring more in. We can do more.
That's been like the super reassuring to me, looking at our numbers and looking at the seasonality of the business over the years and going and looking in TintWiz, like, okay, there's a clear trend where November through February is a little bit slower, but we're flattening that curve off a little bit. And the amount of consultations we're able to schedule right now in a week in January would have been our best week ever 2 summers ago in the middle of the summer. So yeah, definitely we got to add more install capability, and it does take time to train somebody. So yeah, definitely more open right now to, that's not me, I'm not connected.
Mm-hmm. That's why they want
I turn my Bluetooth off.
That's why they want to turn it on.
So we got this cool thing from Eric with Rewired. We got a little Bluetooth UFO.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as far as that goes, we definitely have the ability to add more manpower right now. Using more subcontractors this year is definitely a main thing. So that's another thing. If you're out there, you're skilled, maybe you don't want a full-time job, but you want some sub work, we're definitely at the point where we're needing to sub some stuff out. That I think, as far as the business goes, is like, I don't know, I was just listening to Alex Hormozy recently, and he talked about how he's gotten rid of long-term planning altogether. Like, they look at like 12-week chunks, and it's like, what are the 3 most important things we can do in the next 12 weeks? And then because the market and everything changes so dynamically nowadays, that planning any further than that seems to be a waste of time, and it ends up being only like one of those 3 things that ends up being the thing that they go hard on.
Yeah.
So kind of thinking of that, like, what's the highest leverage opportunity right now? So keeping me out, selling more. And that was a big part of the CRM adding that we did, because it's cool. It connects right to TintWiz. We're going to be a lot more efficient with our sales team now in follow-ups and stuff. And I'm going to be able to be out on sales calls more, and have better tracking and analytics of exactly what's going on at different stages of the pipeline, which leads are actually converting better than others. So the quality of the leads will be able to track better. So we'll know if we're going to make an adjustment to our ad campaigns on Meta or Google for the month, which one's truly outperforming the other. And it really is pretty predictable at this point that we know how many leads are going to come in with what we're spending. So it's not hard to extrapolate how much more we need to spend to increase if we want more work. But right now it's like, we need more installers. So, yeah. But I think that's pretty common throughout all businesses, right?
Yeah. Well, for most people I
create
talk to,
demand, and then you don't have the labor to get it done. And it's like,
it's finding the walking that fine line of making sure that you have enough internal people. So your set crews of what we have in our auto department or what we have in our flat glass department, but then also building up your network to have a good subcontracting network to where when you do land a bigger job, or if you have a huge influx of work, because we do so much residential too at the same time, which residential is a little harder to sub out when it does come down to it. But big commercial jobs is definitely, I would say, one of the things that we're eyeing, or at least I'm eyeing this year. I would like to land a couple.
And we got a couple big ones pending right now too. I think we've got more big ones pending right now than we've ever had. So
yeah, I'd agree with that.
So that's fun, and I know that we've got the ability to pull them off if we land them. That's the cool thing. Like definitely with the network of people.
Oh yeah, no, I don't worry about that. If we were to land big enough commercial jobs, I know within the people that we do know in the industry, thankfully, because of the going to the Panorama meetings, going to the Tint offs, Tinner battles, WFR reunion, going to all those different events. I know if I needed to reach out and had to get my hands on, say, 20 to 30 installers, I don't think I'd have a problem doing it.
Oh, the other really big one that I'm really excited about, because it's just gotten traction recently, and I know we wanted to talk about this, YouTube. Going a lot harder on YouTube. Now we've got Jordan full-time. He's going to be making a lot more YouTube content this year, even long format. We're definitely going to give some more, like I already recorded an instructional that we're going to put on YouTube. So more free educational content that hopefully will be of value, and people will want to come into the gated community at the school and get more in detail and get more one-on-one access with us. But our YouTube just got over 1,000 subscribers because of one viral video of you instructing that was a short, so it wasn't in full context. And the comments on there got a little wild, which was pretty fun to go through and read because it hasn't stopped. What's that at, like 200,000-300,000 views?
Almost. Yeah. It's approaching 400, I think, right now. And then comment-wise, I think it's upward of about 370 comments.
Yeah, so there's a lot of comments on there talking trash about you, and then there's people jumping in and defending you.
It's 50-50. Like the first initial ones that came out were a bunch of people just, I mean, honestly, when I saw it, I was like, awesome, is pretty much calling out, oh, this guy sucks at teaching. It's like, okay, that's fine. I don't care. Hey, you're watching a small clip. You're not taking into context what actually went into creating that clip, or you didn't watch the full. It's like a 48-minute video of us.
Oh yeah, the full video is up with that too. So if you have seen that clip and you want to see the full video, see the full video.
Yeah. So that video was spawned by, we had one of our guys, technically our newest added flat glass guy. He's, I think, approaching around a year, where he had already been out in the field. He's already working in the field at the moment, and I had yet to get any like hands-on training with him, just because,
like, just you one-on-one. It's been either me or Armando or the guys.
Yeah. So, and I wanted to see what he could do. So how we set it up is I first let him approach 2 windows and tint 2 windows without me anywhere near him, treat it like it was a house. I walked in, I looked at the quality of the install, gave my critique to him. And then I did this exact same thing. I installed 2 windows, let him look at my windows. And then I had him do it again where I watched. That's where that video came in. To where it also too, off camera, I also explained to him kind of what we were going to be doing. Like, hey, if I see you doing something you're not supposed to be doing, I'm just going to tell you to stop doing it. And that's obviously, I love the feedback, because then it also shows me, obviously, I got things to work on for myself when it comes to trying to transfer knowledge to somebody. Like, I know I can tint the hell out of windows. Like, I already know that. But passing that knowledge on, that's a completely new skill trait that I have to hone in and get better at. Like, so like I thoroughly enjoy the comments, because it's just hysterical watching people argue with each other. It's funny because you have the people like, oh, this guy sucks at teaching. Oh, that guy's going to quit 2 weeks from now. All this nonsense. Then you have people jumping in. No, that dude just can't listen. And like, they're going super hard the other direction. And it's just like, it's just a fire that they keep dumping fuel on, which please keep commenting, keep the views going. It's helping.
But ultimately, like, if you got a constructive comment, like, put it on there. We are looking at it. Like, we do want feedback. So,
one of the funny ones that I saw, I got pointed out to me, and I was gonna, like, I have almost got to the point of like replying a couple of times, but then I realized I have shit to do, so I just don't. So I move on with my life. But there are some hilarious ones. One guy is like, this dude thinks he's LeBron James of window cleaning, which my rebuttal to that is, no, Michael Jordan. I've never lost in the finals, so that would be my rebuttal to it.
All right, that's a clip.
But yeah, no, it's entertaining. It's cool seeing that the content we are putting out, it's being viewed. Some people are taking it for what it's worth and running with it. Other people are just, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think the The thing it indicates to me is that it was engaging, and
Well,
at a certain scale, once something reaches enough people, there's never going to be everybody happy, and you're going to get crap comments. And that's why anybody who has a big following or has a video that goes viral, those comments are always there. It's why Rogan gives out the advice.
Post and ghost.
Yeah. But when you're trying to, like, he just doesn't care because he doesn't have to. But if you are trying to use your content to grow a business or an educational business, I think it is important to look at them and take the feedback.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So it's like, but just have thick skin and don't take it personally. Like,
there is zero part of me that when I'm
although there was a little part of me that was loving it. Like, I was like, I told you you're a little harsh.
Don't know what to tell you. I mean, I think the rebuttal comments on that go to prove my point when it comes down to it. And like I said, I got to work on not being so cold and harsh, absolutely. But at the same time, I'm very passionate about what I do. And then also there are ways of doing things in this industry. Like, I'm going to stop you from doing something that's going to set you back. There's no reason for you to be doing it. I'm going to tell you to stop. And then also for all the people like, that's not the way you use the word slice. That is our industry lingo. Goddamn, find something to do.
I think that the comments that are the frustrating ones to me, because they're definitely taking it out of context, is people that are clearly in the industry that are comments about how they do it this way or they do it that way.
Oh, those are great because any one of those comments, any of those people, please reach out. If you're ever in Vegas, we'll go window to window, side by side. I'll do the exact same techniques. I'll tint it faster than you. It'll be cleaner than yours. And there'll be nothing you can do about it. I am trying to show somebody how I built up my technique to have a quality install. If you want to see me do those windows at my actual speed, it is obviously 10 times, 100 times faster than what's being done right there. And then also, all those steps are done for a reason, because when you're done with your window and you go back to it and there's water leaking in from edges and there's contamination, I'm not going to have any of that.
So I was going a totally different direction, but I love it. I was going to say, like, ultimately, some of those comments are right. Yeah, there's other ways that you can do it. This is an art.
That I agree with 100%.
This is an art. And if you've perfected another way of installing film that you've personally been doing for 5-10 years, I've seen it happen at the tint-off competitions where somebody that tints a window totally different than we do wins or makes the finals. And like, at first glance, I'm like, oh man, I would never do that because of these extra risk factors that I know in my head could make it be dirty. But then they put on a perfectly clean window. So can it be done faster? Can it be done with a micro instead of a paper towel? Like 100%. What we're trying to show our guys at their entry level is like the bare bone basics. That way they understand the concepts of water coming down from, like, not all windows are so dirty that if some water comes in from an edge, it's going to bring dirt in. It's definitely case by case dependent. And you're going to be the first person out of anybody to start skipping steps when you know that, because you know you can go faster. So it's like, this is the rule to make sure it's safe no matter what. And then as you get more reps in and over time, you're going to know which one of these steps you can kind of, because then I went and retinted that window recently and I squeegeed it without sealing a single edge, and I sealed it at the end and it came out perfectly clean because I know those frames are super clean and there was nothing leaking in. So it's like, this is how you should start for someone who's really doesn't have 15 years experience doing it a certain way. And are you going to eventually over time have a little bit of difference in techniques? And if you use a paper towel or a micro, I use microfibers almost all the time, except for drying my edges. You don't, right? And our work both comes out perfect. So how I look at that when I'm teaching someone, in my eyes, how I'm going to teach them how to do that. If you already do it that way, if you're already installing the window as if that's the dirty window, keep doing your reps that way. That technique, you'll get faster doing that technique to where you just don't have to. And yes, after you've tinted for so long, you'll be able to look at a window and know, like, I don't have to be so on top of, all right, I don't have to seal this edge right at this moment, but you'll have to seal it eventually. But if you do that technique and you keep doing the reps to that technique that way, in that order, eventually you're just going to get fast at doing it that way. Yeah, you get more efficient, for sure. Yeah.
So it's not so much like approaching the window and realizing, oh, I don't have to seal these edges because I know it's not a dirty window, which commercial setting, pulling rubbers and stuff like that's going to change all that. But for me, it's tint the window as if it's the dirty window every single time. So when you get to the dirty window, now you're doing the dirty window at the same efficiency and pace that you're doing the clean window at. If you're only doing that on, say, dirty windows, you don't run across dirty windows. maybe 30-40% of the time you're going to run across
Yeah.
that kind of window. But if you're already operating as if every window is that dirty, when you get to the dirty window, you're not going to fall off time wise.
Yeah.
You're still going to be as fast as you need to be, as efficient you need to be to get the quality you want. And then also in this industry, when it comes down to it, yes, you can usually work about 8-10 hours a day, depending on what jobs you're doing. But if you want to get further in this industry as an installer and make more money, you have to be faster than everyone else.
Yep.
But you can't sacrifice your quality. So
Well,
always treat the window as if it's the dirty window. Do those same steps, and then you will get faster at those steps. And yes, along the way, you'll recognize where it's like, all right, I can put that step off for this second because I'm going to do this, this, and this. And then you can go back to it, and it's not going to have a repercussion to it. But if you're already fast at doing all those extra steps that people are like, oh, it's a waste of time, he's so slow. Again, you know where we're located. I haven't been installing that much in the past 2 years, and I still know I'm probably one of the fastest tinters in this country. And I know I'm one of the best tinters in this country still. And I've got no problem saying that. I have the trophies to back it up. I have the decades of installing.
Yeah, those comments were funny to me.
I think they're hilarious.
Yeah, well, I've been doing this pretty much my whole life, and by hands down, you're the fastest cleaner installer I've ever worked around, which is nice to have. What's funny to me is like the whole, like I'm definitely more on the slower side because I'm very methodical and not skipping steps the vast majority of the time. But even I've come to certain scenarios where I know there's things I can trim out to try to be a little bit faster because I've recognized that being faster does matter. It's funny. Have you ever heard about the study they did with like kids in a pottery class?
Yeah, Hormozy.
Yeah, so like they gave like one half of the class the instruction by the end of the semester they needed to have like a perfect pot, and the other half of the class was given the grading metrics of who can create the most, and then they judged each side of the class's quality at the end of the semester. And overwhelmingly, the side that was told to make as many as they possibly could made better quality their last couple that they made because they got so many reps in. So there's definitely something to like getting in the reps matters way more than like trying to make sure every single one is exactly perfect, because the extra reps you're getting in by going fast is going to get you better faster.
Yep.
It's just knowing which scenario you can go fast in, which is nice to use practice windows. So if you're not here in the academy, recognize that you want to get better faster. Maybe you find extra film somebody has that you can get on discount or something like that, and get extra reps in on a window at home, like over and over and over again. Like, yeah, of course you want to be out installing, but if you've got a gap in your schedule and you don't have anything going on, you can be getting better just by getting extra reps in, like, and see how many extra windows you can tint.
And use a bunch of different material. Don't get so hell-bent on, I have to use this brand and only this brand. If you're messing with everyone's film, you are going to, install lower quality film and then install higher quality film. The more reps you have with a lower quality film, you're going to be much better at installing the high quality film. Like go to Home Depot and get that single ply silver and try to install that. Like even for us, we can do it, but it's a pain in the ass. And then like, that's always been the funny thing to me when I go into a customer's house and they're like, I tried it and nope, can't do it. And I was like, well, where'd you get the film? Like Home Depot. And it's like, all right, which window did you do? They'll point towards the French door. I'm like, well, you picked the hardest window in your house. And then also the film you're using is paper thin. And like for me, that would have been a task to do.
Yeah, especially with the wrong tools.
Yeah, and the tools that they give you. So get as many reps as you possibly can. If you can buy a film on discount from somebody, buy a roll and just install when it comes down to it. And then as we keep building our video library of us doing educational videos, because we are going to keep putting some free ones out on YouTube, but eventually there will be a paywall to where you'll have to sign up and subscribe to the academy to where you can have access to all of our content. And then beyond that, if you want to go a step higher, you have access to ask us direct questions.
Yep.
when it comes down to it. Because every window is going to be a little bit different. Every window system's different, either vinyl windows, commercial windows. Then you get back to like there's metal frame windows out there. There is so many different types of windows out there that's going to change or have little tweaks that you can do to where if you have a question, reach out to us.
Yeah, 100%. It's that I'm really excited about, especially because it's going to allow us to train our guys that much faster. Yeah. Like it already has helped dramatically to get them in here when they haven't had something to do, to just get more reps in.
Yeah, and like you said, us being able to restructure the company finally to actually be able to put people in the proper seats to allow us to do what is going to be the most valuable thing for the company.
Yeah,
like keeping you out and selling, highest priority. For me, it was I have to get to the point to where I can actually start getting hands on with all of our guys and actually help train our guys, because it's one of our biggest problems we have right now. It's labor. And like I want to, if we bring someone in who like they know what they're doing, they can get the job done, but they need some polishing. So it's like as long as most people that we hire, that's one thing that we emphasize like heavily when we bring someone on and interview them is, are you like pretty much, are you willing to learn? Are you willing to like try something different? Because if you keep having the same mistake over and over again, I'm going to give you input to let you know, like, this is how I do my process. Like, even when it comes down to that video, all the criticism of like, I'm wasting my time on doing this, like, that's my process. And as far as I'm concerned, I know how well my process works. Like, I have the square footage installed throughout my career. I've gone to tint competitions, won those. Like, my process, I'm not saying it's the only way to do it, but I know that's the way I do it. And I know how much it works. The proof is in the fact of the trophies. Like, and then how many square feet I can put up in a day, how many panels I can do. Like, I don't look at a job as how many square feet it is. I look at it, how many panels do I have to do? Start doing the math on how many panels you have to do and how much time you can spend on each panel when it comes down to it, and start looking at the job through a different scope. Because you can have 600 square feet, that's 11 windows. That's going to take me about 3 hours, maybe 3.5. Or you can have 600 square feet and it'd be 100 panes. That's probably by myself. That's at least a 2-day project, depending on what kind of panes they are. But it's not necessarily how big the job is square footage wise, it's how big the job is panel wise, because you have to devote so much time. Yeah, well, you have to devote so much time to each panel no matter what. You're going to you're going to spend at least a minute or two prepping and cleaning the window, another couple minutes on peeling the film, sticking the film. And like, it's all about figuring out how much time you can spend on each panel to make sure you get the quality job done, and then also get as many panels done as possible too.
Yeah. And then once you aren't a one-man show, and I don't know, for us, it seems to have worked the best. And it's what we've used pretty much always, but I think we've gotten better at it, is if you're getting so much work that you're the only installer or you have one installer and you can't get it in, hire somebody at the ground level to train, because they can immediately help cut patterns. They can immediately help load and unload the van. They can immediately help start prepping windows. They can immediately help start wiping windows off when they're done, allowing the installer to just install. Now, all of a sudden, you just massively increase the productivity of your current installer, and you're training the next guy to now be the next one. And then you should be able to keep repeating that process if you're trying to grow.
Yeah. Oh, agreed.
So what about you? What are your big goals for the business for the year?
Obviously get the academy up and going, get classes going with that. Actually have it structured out to have a video library that we can put out there to where if someone wants to subscribe to it and have the knowledge of what we would do in certain situations, get that off the ground. Solidify our teams within the company to where like now we have with our more recent hire on the auto side, I think we have a real good crew over there. So get them trained to the point where I can help them install as much as they possibly can when it comes down to help them make as much money as they possibly can. Because if they're making real good money and they're crushing a good amount of cars for the year, it means the business is doing well. And the same thing for flat glass. Bring on another installer into flat glass, grow our flat glass crews. And then also the other big thing I would say is grow our subcontracting network. Actually get that solidified, locked in.
Yeah.
So I mean that's for me. I mean, where we ended last year, we had like a 40% increase, 35, 36, something like that.
I think 12 months running, it's closer to 50 if you look at 12 months running.
And then when I really look at our numbers, we've technically increased our profit to where it's like I want to have a successful company. I want to have a company that does have profit. I'm not trying to stand on the backs of the people that work for us, but I want to have a company that is profitable when it comes down to it. I mean, that's my overarching goal, is to make sure everyone within our team is taken care of, and then have profit at the end of the year to where it's, we can sit there and reinvest into the company and keep growing it.
Yeah. It's been kind of cool to see. I mean, I think the last 2 years, when you factor in everything, it's probably the first time, maybe 3 years, that we haven't had to like reinvest outside money back into the business for anything. It's been self-sustaining, and the money that's generating is creating all the growth. For a couple decades before that, mom and dad would almost annually have to take money and put it back into the business just to keep it afloat during the winter. So the fact that that's already happened in my mind is like,
Oh yeah, no,
is killer. And we've been able to reinvest into stuff faster. So like even hiring Pineda, building this out, all of that, being able to do that without having to require any outside capital. It's like this year is going to be phenomenal based off of all projections and the direction we're going. Switching the website's been huge. We already can see a huge increase in leads just by upgrading our website to be more mobile friendly.
Yes, that was we can see that with just the leads that we're generating right now, and also our phones too. Our phones ringing off the damn hook.
Yeah. So the volume, like that was immediate too. You can instantly see that in the CRM. Like, oh wow, this January is destroying last January. But I think we didn't really start seeing an uptick from our change in marketing strategy last year until about March was like where it started. And then April is when it like took off. Yeah. So I think we're going to see that still for the next couple months, that it's just going to obliterate last year's January, February, March. Then the real test is going to be, can we beat last year's April through December?
That's going to be tough.
No, I think it's actually going to be easier than we think, because search volume is still low when you look at the metrics on like Google search for the industry. I think we're just doing a lot better job creating more predictable flow of leads coming in, which is only going to compound come the surge in demand this summer, especially if the economy is ripping and roaring, which everybody's kind of anticipating. The real estate market's already getting kind of crazy. Listening to Pineda's most recent podcast and even talking to him, he's getting heavy back into real estate because the market's good right now.
Yeah.
Got a huge flow of people coming here from California, even more than before because of the fires and stuff out there, which is tragic. But it's going to be good for Vegas. I mean, not good if you're trying to buy a home, but if you've got one.
No. Yeah. Yeah. No. So, the housing markets blows my mind when it comes down to it.
I mean, if interest rates come down, it's going to go wild. And
I mean, that was a fun thing we just got done, which is going to, by the time this comes out, it would already have dropped. But we actually got invited on to Pineda's podcast, which I'm interested to see how that turned out, because I will say, if I'm being 100% honest, the first like 10, 15 minutes, it took me a little bit to warm up and to get in the flow, just because you know how big his audience is. And it's kind of like, you're focusing on too much. You're not trying, you're just trying to make it have a conversation, obviously. But it's like, I know how many potential either eyeballs or just how many ears are going to listen to us talk. And it's like, all right, don't sound like a dumbass. Don't sound like a dumbass.
Yeah.
But
it definitely did have a different vibe starting off than like us just sitting here doing it, just because we're finally like in his studio and the reach that it has. I felt like it was a good conversation. I'm kind of excited to see it back. It's cool to be on for sure. That's the other thing I'm really excited about, having more guests on. I just had a customer yesterday, business owner, been doing business here in Vegas for a long time. Very, very, very cool guy that we had like a really fun conversation that felt like it should have been a podcast. So I like invited him on. I've already connected him on the show. Have more local business owners that we do business with on, tell more of their stories. Really fun. Guy actually knows a lot of local Vegas celebrities and has even been on their podcasts and stuff. So that'll be a fun one. Do more stuff like that is going to be exciting, especially just to grow the network here locally in town.
Well, we got to get, because I know the WFR reunion, that Tint competition's coming up in March.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I won't be able to go because I'll be just coming back from already set to go on vacation, go see family back in New York. So by the time I come back, it's like literally I'd have to leave and then I'd be back and then leave again, which doesn't make sense. But I'm pretty certain me and Michelle talked about it. We want to send somebody, most likely send you, because we want someone to go compete.
I was gonna say I would totally go to that because I've never been to it. I got to look at my kids' sports schedule. That's the other like thing I'm like on the personal side that I'm super excited for. Like track season's coming up for Brooklyn, maybe London too. She's talking about it. But she's got softball intramurals that start today. So that's probably going to be the priority. But she just finished wrestling, and like, so that stuff never stops. But if she doesn't have a major meet, because she's got a couple major meets this year, like they're going to Stanford for one.
Cool.
And this is her junior year, and this is like the year that she's going to be getting recruited for colleges. And she's been training like a beast. She's in far better shape than last year. So if she can drop 10 seconds on her 1600, she's going to kind of have her pick of the litter of colleges to kind of look
cool.
at, which is really cool. So I'm not missing any of that. So if it doesn't conflict with that, I'm down.
Yeah, well, beyond WFR reunion, we also have the Tint off in September, which I know that we've already talked about. Like the goal is to bring the whole company because it's up in Reno. It's back where I won my first competition. So it'll be fun. And you've already kind of pressured me into the fact that you want me to compete again.
Let's get Reno in one last time, especially because it's going to be a new rule set. It's going to be fun.
No, not real new rule set, new window systems.
Well, yeah, so that'll change.
Same
things.
rules,
yeah.
Because they're still, because talking with Sal, it still is going to be rubber seals. Can't cut them, can't pull them.
Oh, just new frames.
Just new frames. So he wanted to do an arch. And then they got the
it's crazy. I heard that.
The guy who manufactures their windows is like, I don't know if they're gonna go for this because I think it was upwards of like hundreds of thousands of dollars to create the systems, and they're like, yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be something like WFR, I would assume, where they did a diamond shaped window.
So I was talking with Jordan, and might as well talk to you about it right here. I think a really good idea for bringing everybody. We should look for an Airbnb or something that's really close. Put everybody in one monster Airbnb we can set, or even a nice like even one of the suites that has multiple rooms, but set the podcast studio up in either the Airbnb or a room that's like a suite. That way we can get podcasts in a nice controlled environment, and we can do something like what TrueView did 2 years ago.
Who?
True Spray. I don't know why I said TrueView.
Yeah. I didn't know.
But have like a get together. And then the night that we have a get together, we can even like record some podcasts.
I'd be fine getting a room for that, but
yeah,
for me myself, I want to be off by myself. Sorry,
you're such a homebody. I think it'd be fun to have
not
everybody
a homebody. It's just I'm there to compete.
Well, you'll have your own room.
I'm not going to change my.
Remember Nichelle's wedding, like how everybody had their own like master suite. I'm sure we could find something like that in Reno.
Yeah, sure. We'll find that house, and we'll find a house next to it. That's where I'll be staying.
You're so bougie.
No, I just
want
either my way. Environment.
Either way, I think that would be fun if we're gonna take everybody, keep everybody together, and
yeah, it'll be fun.
I mean, even if we found a hotel that has a nice suite that has a living room
where it's being,
and then everybody else's rooms can be right there next to it. That's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And then also the Tinner battles being pulled into that too. I'm excited to see how they roll that out. And like that was funny when they announced that how much people within the industry, and unfortunately it's probably going to sound harsh, cried like little babies about the fact, well, I was never invited to, like, first off, Tinner battles has never been really a thing about being invited. It's who wants to put themselves out there and go do it. Like maybe I think the first like two, they did like teams, but
somebody was saying it was exclusive and they couldn't go.
Yeah, a couple people have said it, in which, I mean, last year was not like that. I was pretty much just show up.
Yeah, it was like open invite, like register and come. And the value of that was insane. For what it costs, for what you got meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Well, see, the previous, in my eyes, Carlos has been slowly trying to develop this over the past couple of years. It's changed each time of how he's kind of held it. Last year, he definitely went hard in the fact of live streaming, entertainment, and opened for everyone to compete. While you just showed up, you could have said, hey, I want to compete in that. And then you would compete in one of the small satellite competitions. And then if you won that, you would then get into the main competition. And that main competition was actually judged and critiqued by installers, and like it was a real competition. I assume, which I have yet to talk to Carlos, but I'm going to take a stab in the dark here, that it's going to be kind of the same thing, and it makes sense to do it at WFCT because WFCT, there are plenty of people that go to that event that don't compete because they are, I mean, I guess timid or scared to like, well, how do I have a chance against these guys, against the people that have been competing in this competition?
Or they don't want to spend the entry fee or whatever.
Well, well, it's like, I'm going to waste some money to go compete in this, and I don't think I have a chance. Where having the Tinner battles in that same conference, you can just go compete, and you can get a feel for what it's like to just compete against somebody in a competition that is, yes, serious, But at the same time, it's a lot more fun and entertaining, and you can get your feet wet and then kind of
Yeah.
figure it out and go from there. And say you win one of those smaller competitions, if he does it like he did last time, say you win one of the smaller competitions, you then get into the final competition, and then you get to feel that out. And then maybe next year you're gonna be like, you know what? Yeah, I want to do this. And then you throw your hat into the WFCT.
Well,
and
I think
compete there.
this is a suggestion that maybe they've already talked about it. I have not talked to him about this or Window Film Mag at all. But what would be really cool is if they have tinner battle competitions that are like auto specific or flat glass specific. If you win the tinner battles this year, get you entry into next year's WFCT. That would be pretty cool.
I would assume Carlos probably thinking something like that. If you're not, you should be Carlos.
I mean, that would be pretty cool. That would encourage more people that are there as spectators to be like, all right, let's try it.
The naysayers were saying that bringing tinner battles in, it's going to dilute the pool, and they're ruining the reputation of WFCT, which is it's so stupid because the whole point is to gather as many people within the industry in one spot so we can all talk and network and grow together. Like, you don't need to put down one competition for another because you're saying that, like, they're only inviting these people or that people. And I was almost kind of in that same boat the first couple tinner battles where it did kind of feel like that, but actually finally going to one and then actually talking to Carlos. Because if you're a person that hasn't actually had like a real conversation with him, not through either being on social media, like if you haven't actually sat down and had a real conversation with him, then you don't know him when it comes down to it. He is definitely multi-faced when he's doing.
Well, he's the Texas squeegee, and then there's Carlos.
Yeah, he does a social media thing. He pushes that way. He tries to be very entertaining, which it rubs people the wrong way. But then you actually have a conversation with him, and then you're like, "Oh, I completely misread you. My bad." Which I ended up finding out last year from Brody. I guess I kind of come off that way too, as I come off extremely cocky. Which I've got no problem saying, yeah, absolutely. I know how good I am. I know what I can do within this industry. But at the same time, even Brody's like, yeah, you come off that way, then you have a conversation, then you're like, oh, yeah, never mind, you're good. So it's like, if I have come off that way, my bad. But I'm very confident in what I do. I know I'm really good at it. And I don't talk that way about auto, even though I think auto installing was my stronger suit in my career. And obviously, I haven't done anything to prove myself right in that. So I don't talk about
at competition. That's the other thing, too, where people do have a good point. Like, I'm sure there's some killers out there that have never competed that could come and win because they're just subcontracting them big jobs all the time. Like, competition and day-to-day tinning are different. It's for different. Sure. So, like, I know you're a killer auto tinner, but that setup is, I mean, you've got 100 of the top killers in the world, not just the country, and everybody has luck comes into play too. Like, there's one little mistake and you're done for.
Those are the other funny comments I see too, talking about like, well, I know a person, he never goes to his competition, he'd kill everybody, and it's like, because he's just doing his work, that's awesome, keep doing what you're doing. But at the same time, the biggest growth that I've gotten in this industry over the past, say, decade plus is going to these competitions. And it's not just to say, hey, I'm the best. It's to improve myself as an installer. And unless you see different techniques being done and how people are doing it, and then approach those people and talk to them about it. Hey, why'd you do that? And then listen to what they say. Don't go at them at the fact like, well, if you do that, you're a dumbass. Which a portion of the comments on the YouTube video is talking about like, I don't do that. He doesn't know what he's doing. It's just like, yeah, well, I just do it differently than you. I'm not saying that you're doing it wrong. But at the same time, this is the process that I do that I know is successful for me.
Yeah, well, that's always been a part of the industry. It's probably a part of all trades. There's fixed-minded people and growth-minded people. And if you actually sit and talk with most people that have won a lot of these competitions or made it to the finals, most of them in my mind are growth mindset oriented. And they know that they're good, but they know that they can always get a little bit better. And that's what separates them from everybody. The person that's been doing it for 5 years, 10 years, can put up a clean window, is making money, is proud of how good they've gotten from where they were, that just thinks they're the best ever and they got nothing else to learn, they're going to stay right where they are.
Yeah.
So it's, it is what it is. It's a mindset thing that, I think it was worse in the industry. And I think now because of social and just the whole like culture change of everybody actually communicating with each other and sharing with each other has gotten better. And more people are coming out and saying, look, like, yeah, I'm good. I've been doing this my whole life for 10 or 20 years, but I went to this thing and somebody showed me something I didn't know. And then they're even taking it, adapting it, and sharing it, Yeah. So that's been cool. So as a trade, it's becoming more and more professional. But you're always going to have people, especially in the comments. For some reason, that seems to be where they're sucked to the most, that want to talk shit.
Yeah. I'm so busy, but I can sit here and make a bunch of comments, so, which kind of counterproductive, but okay. Sounds good. One thing I am looking forward to is we connected with Film Pros. We are designing or I should say he's designing, and he's getting input from us so we can have our own hat, which I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, that'll be sick.
I sent over a mock-up of merging his logo kind of with our logo, and I'm really looking forward to see how that comes out.
So if you've stuck around this long in this episode and you're interested in getting a hat when we get them, comment below hat, and we'll take that into account when we order hats, and maybe we'll be gifting some out and make some available for the audience that we do have, which again, if you've stuck around this long or you've been listening to episodes, we really appreciate it. Like, we know your time is valuable, and that's the other thing I'm kind of excited about. We're going to start doing some merch and see if there's a demand that people want it. Did I tell you about that company, Pink's Window Cleaning? I heard about them on My First Million podcast. They're like window cleaners out of Austin.
Yeah.
That they're blowing up and expanding that franchise like crazy because they have really cool social media content. So if you guys want to look at a company that's doing social media right, that's close to our industry and probably cool to pair up with if they're in your market. I know they're in Austin. Pink's Window Cleaning, but they've apparently sold like tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of their hat to customers. They made like having that hat like a trendy thing in like the Austin area.
Smart.
Which sounds like, what? Why would people buy a window cleaning company's hat? But I don't know. I think that's kind of an interesting little thing too. Like, I don't know. Can you have something like that you can give to your customers that they're going to be out wearing and repping your brand if you're putting up quality work and you can make it something that looks cool.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. So the hat thing I'm excited about, and I'm thinking we're going to do that and then possibly come up with our own hat design too also, right?
Yeah. We'll see where it takes us.
So
I know I've gotten asked a couple times if I would want to design a squeegee, which I really don't have a want or need to do so. Well,
the blue turbo that we've got, I don't know if I can call it blue turbo without getting sued, but it's basically a turbo model, but it's a little thicker that we get private made that people are always asking about. That's the other thing. If you're interested in getting some of those, we don't have a specific spot where you can buy them yet, but hit us up or write in the comments that you're interested in getting some. We get those in bulk from someone who makes them, as long as we order 100 or 200 at a time. We got to order them in bulk.
Substantial order.
Yeah, we got to make a big order, but all of our guys use them for auto. I use them a little bit for flat glass for smaller windows, just because they're, I don't know, it's weird to explain. They're like a little bit more grippier and a little heavier and thicker than a yellow turbo. It's like
having a blue Power Max or an Orange Crush, but as a turbo.
Yeah,
in my eyes, where you can cut it down to the size you want. Because like for me, my auto squeegee, I have like a straight side, and then I have a side that I cut a long nose into to where I can get behind seals. And then on my flat glass one, I just have two pretty much like, I would say 80-degree cuts to where it's almost like a fine hard point. So when I am sealing my windows, slicing my edges, I make sure that it gets enough pressure on the edge of the film to either seal it down, and then also for the paper towel to soak the water out. So
it's been so fun watching how many things have come out over the years and see how many different people out there are putting content out of using different tools to do the exact same thing.
Tint busters, chew spray.
So it's like, that's the other
Fusion.
thing. Yeah, all the different tools. It's crazy. And that's the other comments that really annoyed me on that video was like stuff like that. Like, man, there's so many different tools you could use now.
Using a spray bottle.
Yeah, like
I am, because I'm trying to just teach my guy the technique of installing film. Beyond, I don't need a spray pack or I don't need a tank itself when I'm doing instructional in my eyes. Like, it's not going to make a difference at all. And let alone, you should be using something, say, God forbid, your spray pack or your tank goes down. You should have a bottle on you at all times, because if that shit breaks, you still got to get the job done. You might as well, I mean, not like it's going to be that big of a difference using a bottle against a tank. It's just going to be more time consuming, but you might as well learn how to do something with the basic tool.
Yeah, I'm pretty much completely tank or the True Spray Pack now, the True Active. But I always have a backup spray bottle just in case.
Yep.
You never know. A battery could always go out. A pump could go out.
We even
Your
got comments on
bag
whether
could tear. Like there's all kinds of issues you could have. So why not be prepared and have the bottle as a backup?
no, I've even seen some comments go because we made a couple of videos of me installing on a car where I still use a bottle on a car. I don't think there's a need to use a tank or to use a pack, either the Tint Buster or the True Active, on when you're doing auto tinting. You don't need that much. Like, yes, you need to get your window wet. I mean, that's one thing I've kind of harped on is make sure you're wetting your film enough. But I don't think you don't need a 80 or 90 psi spray.
Well, you can adjust the tip.
Yeah, but still, I don't.
You can adjust the flow
You don't
with the
need
tip.
that in my eyes. You don't need it for a car. It's just
Well-
it's extreme overkill in my eyes. It's just you're dumping more excess water on someone's door panel or inside their door. It's just for me. I like using a spray bottle on cars. I probably will never.
That's
change.
just a personal preference thing.
Yeah.
Because I've seen somebody explain the exact opposite on doing like a back window or a windshield. Because you get such a wide fan, you can actually lay down less with that and cover the whole window faster. So that's a personal preference thing.
Yeah, that can be argued back and
Yeah.
forth.
And again, whatever you end up getting comfortable with using over and over again is what you're going to prefer.
Yeah, and we started off in the industry where we had a yellow turbo, a white hard card, and an OFA, and that was it.
And a hand pump spray bottle.
Yeah, hand
And then
pump spray-
occasionally somebody would have the 3-gallon white pest control bottle to pump up. But I think those days are long gone.
Yeah, no,
If you're going to use a tank,
some of the old school tinters are still using those because
Yeah.
you use what you're comfortable with
Yeah.
when it comes down to it. And if that 3 gallons is going to get you through the day and you're used to the way you pressurize your tank, I'm not going to fault you for that. Do your thing.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
What else did we want to talk about? So we kind of talked about goals. We're doing the academy, growing the business this year,
All right.
kind of some growth on the podcast.
Do you actually think you're going to have a chance to beat me this year?
Oh, I know I'm going to beat you.
You've said that for a decade.
Well, this year you can't duck me.
Duck you. You're cute.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
got a
that's
better chance than I had last year, where you didn't let me go because you were afraid.
yeah, sure. It's exactly what it was. I'm so afraid of the person who takes second.
No, in all honesty, we had a big project I had to stay back for, and it was probably smarter that I stayed. And he's lucky he won, or I would have never let him hear the end of it.
Whatever. Well, we'll see how this next year goes. It should be fun. Especially, I'm excited to get everybody who hasn't competed, all the guys that we've brought on, the people that have been here for a couple of years, let them go experience the competition.
New fleet of vans. Which way are we leaning? Because the vans we got suck. And
I'd love input on this.
Yeah,
Please
yeah.
comment.
Who's using what, and what have you found the best success with? Because we've tried a couple different models of vans.
Ford
and they-
Transits, the experience
they
we've
fell
had
apart.
sucked. Right now we have Dodge or Ram ProMaster Cities, same thing, suck.
Fall apart.
In the shop constantly. In my eyes, we're leaning towards Chevy Express vans. I want to go back to Chevy. I wish they would re-release the Chevy Astro van because I think that was the one van that lasted like 2 decades for us.
I do like the Sienna, but like
No roof,
The
no roof
back-
rack. And then also
Yeah.
too,
we
I need
could get a
cargo.
roof rack for it, but
Yeah,
I
but
think what we've
doing
looked in,
custom and
yeah,
that'd be a pain in the ass.
and it's pricey. Like we can get something for
Well,
cheaper.
I want the express van because with an express van, it's not tall enough to where you have to worry about pulling into either parking structures or anything like that. And it's long and big enough to where you can load it with all the appropriate ladders and everything to where you can just leave that shit in the van. And then you just obviously load your film up for the day and go to where it gives you enough space within the van.
Are
to
we
where you
going to
should
put some type of
organize it.
permanent racking in there to make it a little bit more organized?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you got suggestions on that type of stuff, we'd love to hear it also.
Send us photos of what your setup is.
What setup do you have? And maybe we'll, if we find something in there that we like, we'll even shout you out, give you credit, and show you what we come up with.
Yeah. Another thing I'm looking forward to this year is testing tools and just giving opinion on certain tools. Like we've already done it on a couple different tools. Tony Smith sent me. Oh damn! I already forget what the blocks are called. Border Buddy.
Oh, that looks cool. I saw you do the video. Of
Yeah,
that. That's
so
cool.
those were cool, and like how 3D printing is changing the tool industry for us to where people are coming up with designs. Like it also has the tint block, which I'm pretty sure that's sold through Soak Shield 2.0 on the website, to where it's like they developed a little block for auto to where you You can put your Fusion squeegee handle fits in there. It has a couple different rows to put cards. You put your OFA pack. Like you actually keep things organized, like stuff like
Oh,
that.
you bring that into the car with you?
Yeah, and more
No.
likely it's for sitting on. I mean, for us at least, 'cause I bought a couple when I was at WFCT, just to put on top of the toolbox, just to keep your stuff organized.
Do we still have some of those adjustable peel boards from Mike coming?
I need to order those. So we ordered his table, which it's pretty much put together. I just need to I need to order the plastic for the shelving itself so we can polish
That thing's
off.
super nice and sturdy. Once we get the top on it, it's going to be exciting to use.
I'm excited to have that. And I also ordered some because you can actually, it comes with a bunch of accessories, so you can buy accessories to where you can put attachments on to where you can put a roll on the end of it to where you either going to pull out some clear bra or you have transfer tape if you do graphics. So a lot of what Mike's been putting out, I've all of his tools I've liked a lot. Like he's got the new Arrow blade, which I need to order. He just finally got the green light from his lawyers to start selling it. He got the patent on it to where it's use it for PPF. So you're bulking a hood or bulking an area and you want to cut up against pretty much, I guess, the edge of the hood and you want to make the perfect cut. This thing has like a roller on it to where you pull it through and it slices and cuts the clear bra to where you have like a perfect 1/4 inch right off the edge. And at the same time, it rolls right across the edge. So it's like pretty much
sealing and cutting
to a point. And it's like, it's a foolproof way to make sure you're cutting your edge perfect without having to worry about anyone cutting the paint, because that is a skill by itself, taking an OFA or a red dot and, just kind of cutting in air and making sure you have the right tension while you're pulling it to make sure you're cutting it just far off. But that cut's not going to always be perfect, and it just takes repetitions to perfect that. Now you just have a tool where you just rip and go.
Yeah, stuff like that's amazing for the industry as a whole, because there are little nuanced skills like that if you can remove the risk and create the functionality of somebody who doesn't have that skill to be able to pull off that same thing immediately.
His Instagel, we've never really been a gel company when it comes to PPF, but when he came to he went to him and a guy that he had trained that was like 3 years into PPF. They developed it and they went and used it at WFR's Tint Off at the end of last year. And him and Mike and the guy won the competition, the team competition for PPF. And it was like, that was their, I mean, it worked out perfectly for him in the fact that he got to use his gel that he was about to bring to market. And then he went and kicked everyone's ass with it. I got to use it and I actually thoroughly enjoy using it. It's not like you use a heavy amount of it. How his instructions put it, you spray a light mist on after you squeegee the hood or whatever down. You light mist over everything. If you have a real hard edge, you kind of cover that edge a little bit more, and then you wet your clear bra and then drop it on, and it gives you time to work a certain part of the hood and know that it's not going to tack up on you on the other side. And then also the capability to lift back up. Say you got a little piece of contamination, you can lift back up and you don't have to worry about lift lines. So we just we used the bottle he sent to us. I loved it, and I just ordered, I think 4 or 5 gallons of it to where now we have it on hand at all times.
Nice.
So I'm really looking forward to keep using that, and like I said, keep expanding our tools and whatever can, I guess, make the install easier or more efficient. I mean, I'm not really looking for ease. I'm looking for efficiency.
Yeah. So, I'm super interested in always looking at new products that come out too. I just shared with Jordan like a day or two ago. I've seen this a couple times now, but I shared a link from whoever's making, I can't remember the name of it, but they've got a little plastic piece that has a light attached to it.
That's Tinstitute.
So
right? Jordan?
I'm not sure.
Pretty sure it is.
But he might be promoting it already.
I think he helped develop
but
that.
It looks really cool for if you're solo and you're needing to cut a window. Like, it actually seems like the best solution I've seen yet, because you can literally pull it along with you as you cut. Also, Mike came out with those buttons, which is
those I want to order.
That's pretty cool.
Unfortunately, I feel like glass is getting softer and softer. Like it's
but like, I want to get as many of those different types of products that are coming out as possible. Let us open it, give it a review, put it out as content. And then I know these companies are probably doing affiliate deals with people that are helping sell them. So maybe we can start putting affiliate links on for even selling some of these products with any of the products we're currently using, if that's available.
That would be,
because we do have a big audience of people in the tint industry now. So, it's not giant, but it's a lot of our traffic is people engaging with our stuff that are window tinters.
Yeah. So. But no, I'm looking forward to testing out a bunch of new stuff, see what works, what doesn't work, and kind of go from there.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably a good spot to end this. Nice to sit down and actually have a little recap. Looking forward to it, and like you said, I am looking forward to the guests we will have this upcoming year. I know we're looking to get Marco from Expel on, bunch of different people that we're looking or trying to get on, and then we had one guy pop up from Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. Any percent tint. Hit me up out of nowhere and says, "Hey, I'm in town. Do you care if I come by?" And I was like, "Dude, absolutely." Came by. We shot the shit for about an hour and a half. Which, to be honest, I almost wish that we would have just set the mics up and sat down and talked, because it would have been a fun conversation. He's 23 years old. He's been in the industry for 2 years now, and has his head in the right spot. Like, I'm really excited to see where the industry's going when you got people like that, to where like he's diving into it, and then realizing too, like I think pretty sure he's going to make it to the WSCT event this year. Like just looking to try to grow and expand and see how, like, he didn't realize how kind of the industry was, like how big the industry can be and what you can actually get to when it comes down to it. It's not just, slapping tin on cars. I mean, it can be what you want it to be. If you just want it to be a side hustle, it can be a side hustle. But if you want to grow past that, there's definitely plenty of growth in this industry to go beyond that.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, that's always fun when somebody reaches out and then comes in, stops by. It's nice that we're in Vegas. You hear other big podcasters that have like stationed themselves out here for that reason. So if you are in town for any reason, and you're interested in coming by, just hit us up ahead of time, and we'll make sure we're here to meet with you.
Yeah, and then if you give us enough time, we'll even set it up to where we can sit down and talk. Yeah, like, that was the one conversation I had with him. I was like, "Dude, next time you're out here, I'd love to sit down with you." And he was kind of like, "Well, like, no, yeah, like, what do you do?" I'm like, literally, what we just did for the past hour. And we could have just mic'd ourselves up, or we could just sat down on the table, and it's like, just have a conversation, just talk about the industry. Like, he had so many different questions about how to scale. He wanted to get into flat glass. Like right now, he was in his garage, and now he's going just mobile for the time being. Because where he was doing it, he lost that opportunity to do it where he was doing it. So, but now he wants to go mobile. But then beyond that, he wants to open a brick and mortar. And like, he's trying to lay out his plan of where he wants to go to and what he wants to do. He asked me, like, he saw the books that we have behind us and asked like what kind of books we read. I'm like, well, first off, I really don't read too much. It's more like what I listen to. But then he showed me a list of books that, like, he's like, I have majority of those books on my list. And I was like, I would jump to Jocko's at the top of that list if you're looking to grow yourself personally for like leadership, and then trying to lead your company, because he runs it with he has a couple buddies that he does it with. And I was like, those are the books I would jump to. Yeah.
I think for me, business wise, I'd put to the top of the list right now, because I think it's the most relevant. $100 million offers and $100 million leads.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to his next book. Has he talked about when his next book's coming out?
He hasn't, but it should be soon. But yeah, Alex Hormozy, $100 million offers, $100 million leads. That's literally like a little workbook to show you what you should be focusing on as far as how you're pricing, what strategies you're using to make an offer when it comes to doing advertising. And then leads gets more into the detail of how to run leads and referrals, affiliate programs, stuff like that. But he lays it out like item by item, really clear, with really cool graphics that he drew, as if he was doing like whiteboarding that he does in his videos.
That was one of the things that he noticed. He saw the acquisition.com hat.
Oh, sweet.
So he's like, oh yeah, he's like, no, I love Hormozy. I'm like, just keep reading his stuff.
Yeah.
Keep consuming.
That'd be something I'd like to do this year, possibly again, since we did the one last year. I've been over there for doing work on their facility a couple of times now. Talking to the people there, they've really like grown that whole program for the workshop, and it's evolved. There's seems to be like 4 or 5 layers of it now. So there's extra layers of it we could go to that I think would be important or good knowledge to have.
No, I'd like to go back to that. I'd like to do some more stuff with Echelon Front. Maybe do another muster, or do the FTX, the field.
Because ultimately, like long term on the academy for me is like start with the educational piece on the actual techniques, choosing films on which type of glass, the hands-on kind of stuff, to auto installers is like the first line of stuff that I want us to do. But I think the next line and next tier packages where you create like a funnel of the thing that you can ascend up to is once people do that and they do well with it, you kind of do what Hermosi's doing. Lowest level skills that are then qualifying people to be in the next level of the pipeline would then be like, hey, for this next package, you get even more hands-on training, maybe even us coming to your business and helping set up the systems and processes that we're using. You even get maybe connected with Rewired to have the same CRM integration and setup that we've got, and almost do like the licensing model like he did with Gym Launch. Like, hey, this is what's working for us that we've been fine-tuning in public, talking about it on our podcast. These are the partners we've been using. You upgrade to this level of subscription or class amount, and we'll actually give you way more hands-on helping you just basically throw this model into your business.
Yeah.
I think that's the real huge opportunity.
No, that's why I look
it gets
forward
overwhelming once you're trying to scale and grow on like all the things you don't know and you need to learn. And if you can get a 40-year jump start on.
Oh, that was the biggest reason why I jumped at the opportunity when Pineda offered us to do a one-on-one mentorship. It was absolutely like, obviously I do care what it costs to a point, but at the same time, at what point are you worried about money to where if you are really worried about money, you should really then go after it and do it? Because if you're that worried about money, are you going to try to just swim in the middle of the ocean hoping for the best for the next 2 years? You're probably going to make a bunch of mistakes, cost yourself a shit ton of money. Yeah. Or you could just pay the person who's already went through all of those things, has developed their systems and gotten to a point where they've already had all those experiences to where you can just get it firsthand from like, this is why I do this, and this is why I wouldn't do it like this because this is what happened.
Yeah.
So that's why I like jumped at the fact of being able to do one-on-one with Ryan, and then also going to Hermosi's workshop, and then also going to the Musters, going to the Musters to help every facet of the company to try to grow it in the areas that like, yes, we are heading in the right direction, but we still are, swimming in the middle of the ocean and hoping.
Getting advice from someone who's already been there, done that, and paying for education is by far the highest leverage thing that we've done.
Yes,
by far.
I would agree.
So like, you can look day to day and like, okay, where is better to spend money on marketing, but knowing, and then that allows you to, when you're hiring a marketing company, to know which questions to ask.
Yep.
To actually understand like, okay, well, what are they going to implement? And you kind of need to understand it. As much as people want to just pay somebody and just set it and forget it, you need to have an understanding of it, or otherwise you might pay an agency for months and months and months on end and not even know that you're just heading in the wrong direction.
Yeah. No, agreed.
No.
But no, I think that's probably a good spot to wrap up. We appreciate you guys following along if you're still listening. I know we kind of jumped all over the place today, but I think this is the first time that me and you sat down and kind of done a one-on-one in a little bit. So it was kind of nice to shoot the shit and go over our expectations for this year and kind of where we've been at company-wise. So look forward to this next year of growth and see what it brings to us. So
yes, thank you especially if you're still here right now. Thank you. Make sure you subscribe, first time listener, follow YouTube or Spotify, I think are the big ones.
Yeah, we're
on
all of them.
But,
so.
And then I also want to, something we haven't done in a minute, but I want to hit a huge shout out to Eric Devash with Tint and all that he's done for us, all the sponsorship and everything. That software, shifting over to that and joining that community of people that are helping grow that whole community and help each other onboard and learn how to like optimize your business and systems up has been like the linchpin of everything we've got going here over the last 4 years. And without his continued support, we would not be where we are right now. So if you aren't using a CRM right now and you're bidding projects through QuickBooks or by hand, seriously give it a look. Like I'm saying this right now because I genuinely believe it, and I've seen other people do it, and it completely transformed their business. So check it out.
Yeah, no, huge shout. I would agree with that. Huge shout out to Eric. And then also Solar Guard too. Steve Shore and the entire team at Solar Guard, same thing. What they've put behind us, and it's been kind of more of a silent thing than, but I definitely want to give credit where credit's due. Steve heard our vision of what we wanted to do and kind of just gave us the free reins to do what we wanted to do and bring all this to life. So both of you guys. I appreciate it a lot, and how much you guys believe in what we're doing and keep supporting us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good one, guys.